Seattle-Tacoma International Airport is stepping up security after an airline employee stole a passenger plane there. Richard Russell crashed and died after a joyride that lasted more than an hour. A SeaTac spokeswoman calls the flight a one-in-a-million experience, but the airport is making its cargo areas and passenger terminals more secure. Kris Van Cleave spoke to the head of the TSA about the incident. He's at Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. Kris, good morning.
Good morning. Friday's theft of an airliner by Richard Russell is raising new concerns about so-called insider threats and raising a lot of questions about how airport workers are vetted. 3 days after Horizon Air employee Richard Russell took control of an unoccupied commuter plane from the SeaTac airport.
Yeah, I just kind of want to do a couple maneuvers, see what it can do.
Port of Seattle executives defended the airport's screening procedures.
We have always met all federal security protocols, but we've always gone beyond when necessary.
Commissioner Courtney Gregoire said a review found all security protocols were properly followed before Russell gained access to the plane and took off.
I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them to hear that I did this.
Russell passed federal criminal background checks that looked back 10 years and had no links to terrorism. He was one of more than 12,000 people with access to the airfield at SeaTac.
For me, it's really more of an issue of access and appropriate access, irregardless of what the intent of the actor is.
David Pekoski is the TSA administrator. Is this something that should be a wake-up call for airports, airlines, and your agency?
It's certainly not a new issue at all for any of us. This highlights an additional vulnerability, and it's something that really I'd just like to see the entire fact set.
The aviation industry has long worried about insider threats linked to terrorism. But in 2012, a SkyWest pilot suspected of murder failed to take off and crashed an empty plane at a Utah airport before killing himself. And 3 years ago in Europe, a Germanwings pilot suffering from depression intentionally flew a plane into a French mountainside, killing 149 others. Can you screen for things like mental health in an effective way?
With regard to mental health, I mean, we do screening in terms of background checking for all airport workers.
But the background checks, those look at criminal records, those look at ties to terrorism and watch lists. Are you checking for any signs of mental illness or other disqualifying factors?
What we do right now in the background checks is, you're right, we look for criminal history and any connections with terrorist organizations. And with this particular case, I mean, let's let the investigation run its course and see what the entire fact set is.
Senator Maria Cantwell of Washington State is already calling for congressional hearings about what happened at SeaTac. Horizon is owned by Alaska Airlines. Alaska says it is cooperating with investigators to determine how this happened and how it can be prevented. Gayle?
Yeah, that's a very scary thought. Thank you very much, Kris. I don't know how you get around an inside job when somebody who had all the proper access does something that goes so rogue.
Right.
It's very, very frightening.
I wonder about copycats and your potential copycats out there.
Exactly.